have a show for you that we'd like to call the House Party Edition. It will come in 2 parts, and it's a house party because we're inviting all of you.
Everybody!
In part 1, what we're going to do is we invited some friends over. We asked them all the questions and we had a really awesome discussion. So we're going to share that for you as part 1.
Part 2 will cover a broader range of opinions. So for next week, we're opening the episode up to responses. We will be reading responses from you concerning the questions that were asked this week, and we will be showing excerpts from interviews that we did at the Irvine Spectrum.
So I hope it'll be really fun.
I think it will be,
I
yeah.
think it'll be really cool, and it's a great way to get everyone involved.
Yeah, this wasn't even going to be 2 parts, but we had such a cool discussion yesterday, and when we went to the Spectrum, we heard some really
awesome responses.
Yeah.
So we got really excited, and we had so much information that we're like, okay, we have to put this into 2 videos because I think it'll be awesome.
Yep. And now it's time for the word of the day.
Yes! I love the word of the day.
Today's word of the day, because that's redundant, is classical.
Classical.
Classical. That's the word.
Everybody says.
Yep. So this actually has 2 definitions. The first definition is the musical period from 1750 to 1820, where form and structure was stressed over expression. Composers of this period include Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so time period where there's form versus
I wonder if
emotion.
those dates had anything to do with when those composers were alive. Probably.
I think they relate.
I think they might relate.
Imagine
Directly related.
The second definition for classical is serious. There's actually quotations here.
Quote unquote serious.
Serious or art music as opposed to popular or folk music.
Oh, wow. Did you know that?
So the second definition is probably what most people are most familiar when they hear the term classical music. It's something that's more formal and more artistic than, say, Nicki Minaj. Just throwing that one out there.
Bees in the
Throwing
trap.
it out. Bees in the trap.
Yeah.
Hey!
The classical music survey begins with the hardest question of all. What are your names and where are you from?
I am Ben Cook,
Okay.
and I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri.
My name is Jason Smith, and I'm an Orange County guy.
What kinds of music do you guys normally listen to?
Well, I listen to a lot of jazz and a lot of classical, and then I also like some hip hop and R&B, like Isley Brothers or like Erykah Badu is cool too, or like
Nice.
Ice Cube. But then Wes Montgomery is like my favorite right now.
Cool.
But just all kinds of stuff.
Alright, I guess I'm kind of more into the little like combination. I love the intersection of pop and indie music. People like Tegan and Sarah. I just went and saw them in concert. I'm going to go see Census Fail in concert in a couple months. They're a little bit more of a rock band, an indie rock band, metal. And then I also love Mumford & Sons. So I like a little bit of a genre that's my favorite, but I'm the same way. I love the hip hop, especially when karaoke.
What is your musical background?
My family was very musical. My dad could play the piano by ear. And so we sang a lot of Christmas carols, as a family and stuff growing up. And so I would, in addition to karaoke, I would add car singing and shower singing and Christmas carols.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I teach guitar 6 days a week, and so I play a lot of guitar.
He
I've been
wins.
playing guitar since I was about 12 years old. And I've been playing saxophone even longer, actually. I started saxophone in 5th grade, but I no longer practice that. That's where I initially learned how to read music.
Excellent. And Jason, I know you said you were a shower singer, but do you play any instruments?
Only the nose flute.
Brilliant
Amateur
instrument.
nose flute player.
Amateur nose flautist.
If you guys ever listen to, or have you ever listened to classical music on a regular basis?
Yes.
Yes.
I listen to classical music a lot. Right now, my current favorite to listen to is probably, I like the Bach Inventions a lot.
I don't listen to a lot of classical music, mostly because on a day-to-day basis my music is my energy, and for me classical music I enjoy in a more relaxing setting.
Have you ever seen classical music live?
I've never been to a major symphony, actually.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of classical music live, but not quite as much as I would like to. I kind of want to make it out to go see the Mahler symphonies at one point or another,
Yeah.
because Mahler is great.
Alright, so Jason,
Yes.
can you please name some classical composers?
Alright, I don't know many, but I will try. Beethoven, Bach, Wagner. Did Wagner do Flight of the Valkyries? Who did Flight of the Valkyries?
That's Wagner.
Okay. I know there's a couple more big ones, but I'm drawing a blank.
We're gonna start with Bach, Beethoven, the obvious ones, and then Schumann, Schubert, could go Liszt, and then I probably pronounced that wrong.
Liszt is fine.
Okay. And then Mahler, Chopin. There's, I feel like I could go on.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
while.
there's a lot of them.
I'm gonna say you nailed that one.
Yeah,
Just saying.
If I got a name, then he got like an A+++++.
You got the like extra.
A gold star.
Yeah. So what is this?
A musical note?
A musical note. Do you know what type of musical note this is?
It's a common one. It's every single, like you see it a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't. No, but it's one of those things. It's.
I remember.
I'm pretty sure as soon as he says it, I'm gonna be like, oh yes, that makes sense. I
Alright.
do not.
That is a quarter note.
Oh, I would not have. Okay.
It gets one beat in 4/4 time.
What is this instrument?
Pick me.
I think they use it in jazz groups a lot. Looks like a trumpet.
It is a trumpet.
Ding ding ding.
Exactly.
What is this?
Pound sign.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Besides the pound sign, in relation to music, what is this?
I'm gonna take a guess. Is that a sharp?
It is a trumpet.
It is a sharp.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No prize because we don't have a budget.
Can I have a Jack Diet?
Of course.
Oh, thank you.
You're very
It's on
welcome.
us. Or
Yeah.
her.
It's on me. Alright, and the last one is our hardest one.
All right. Wow. Is that saying the like 4 per 4 or 4
Yeah.
notes every quarter?
Four notes
I don't
every,
know.
4 notes every what?
4 notes every entire thing. No, I don't know.
What's the entire thing?
What is it called?
You got it. You got it.
What might
What's
that
the
be?
thing called?
Shoot. Thanks.
You really have to write it
You
here.
do,
This is
you
so
have
awesome. Alright, Ben, can you
So
prove
that means 4/4 times. So that means that there are 4 quarter notes in each measure. So that means how many beats? That means a quarter note gets the beat.
Yeah.
And
Teacher Ben.
Nice.
Teacher Ben.
Good answer.
Anybody got any guitar lessons?
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen. Name
Alright.
that tune.
But now I'm gonna be able to name it. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Is this the William Tell Overture?
no.
No. It's one of the. I mean, I'm not gonna remember what like the letters on the one. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Do it. Say it.
What, the name?
Yeah.
It's Beethoven's Fifth.
Yeah.
There you
We just want to know if you guys can speak about your opinion of classical music as a dying art, or do you think it's something that is going to endure? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that it will endure primarily because of the education system and how it's taught in schools and how kids, they start learning violin like in elementary school and stuff, and then they've already spent 4 years or whatever learning it, so they want to play it in middle school and high school and then college and so on and so forth. And so I think it will continue to thrive in that sort of setting. But as far as like the mainstream public goes, I feel like the common person is not super interested in classical music. And then also people are always going to continue to write like contemporary works that are from like the classical right, but they're probably not going to be accepted into popular repertoire the way that something that was written 200 years ago would be, because that's just not how it works,
Yeah.
So I think that it's not gonna die out anytime soon, but I also don't think that it is thriving within like the mainstream populace, if that makes sense.
So when was the last time, I mean, all these classic composers we mentioned are, you know, a long time ago from a different age. I think that I would have to guess, in addition to what, you know, Ben was saying about the kids who learn music through these classical instruments, in the mainstream success, I think they'll continue to find success in the theaters, in the movies. You know, I mean, John Williams is not the, you know, only famous, you know, person. There's, you know, Hans Zimmer and Jerry Bruckheimer and Jerry Goldsmith. I mean, these guys are making amazing music for huge movies, and they're anthemic. Think of Pirates of the Caribbean, not to mention all the, you know, the George Lucas movies. I mean, these are absolutely fantastic. I don't think it will ever be the mainstream success that it may have been back then. And I think that's quite all right. I mean, just like mainstream art, like the high-end art, will always remain something that is appreciated by smaller groups of people who, you know, who choose to appreciate that. I feel it's a little less accessible, but it always has been a little less accessible, in my opinion. We just have other music now. So the question was, is it dying, right? I would have to say that where it is, I expect to see it to continue to be and have this little niche as a mood setting for cinema, as well as, I mean, the opera is still going on, and another example is the video game music has really, that's something that's actually grown. And that's, I want to go see that. You know, I haven't seen, you know, the LA Philharmonic, right? But the next time Video Games Live comes around, I do not want to miss it.
Like League of Legends had a live orchestra. I could be wrong, but I think in retrospect, I think video game music and movie music, in hindsight, will fall under the category of classical music, because in the same way that Wagner falls, even though it was staged,
well, like
there's a lot of stage works that
fall
fall
under
under
Mario theme song that is now like a classic almost.
It is a classic.
Yeah, it's weird.
A lot of it's funny too, because you know you teach a lot, and I'm teaching a lot now too. And it's funny, every time, I swear, once a week in the studio, you hear some kid on a piano playing a Mario theme song. Like, it's
That's wonderful, though. And isn't that?
Cool.
I mean, as much as I can appreciate that, particularly, you know, you three are, you know, at least Andrea and Michelle, you're really into classical music and you appreciate it because it's part of what you do. I mean, I think it's kind of okay where, like, I mean, I'm not worried about, there's still people using these instruments and in different ways. I mean, is the violin less beautiful necessarily because Lindsey Sterling plays it? You know, or is she taking that instrument and reinventing it in a way that's really awesome and pairing it with dubsteps and covers and the Lord of the Rings music, you know? And so, I mean, it's a change, and I'm sure a purist would go, oh my gosh, that's horrible, but I still hear pretty violin music. So, I don't know.
It's just a different realm of creativity. I appreciate all of it. Like, I'm one of those people who, like, I can't in good, like, faith hate on hard work that somebody else did. It might not be, like, the same type of work that I do, but it's work and it's awesome. Like, it's all creativity.
Right. And also, I think it'll always, like, remain somewhat alive because there's always going to be a group of people that enjoy creating the music. You know, it's always something that, you know, people find fun to do, I feel like. Or at least I find it fun to do. And I know that there's other people out there who enjoy it. So, you know, as long as people continue to enjoy creating the music like the traditional way, you know, I feel like it won't really die out just because of that. You know?
That's a good point. And it still has that role, even though I focused on the video game, you know, the video game music and the movies. It still has a place in high society. I mean, there's still opera going on, you know. Like you said, you could still name a symphony for every county. I mean, if it was dying, wouldn't it be like just LA instead of all of these?
I didn't say they were necessarily doing well, but
okay, fine, never mind. I'm quite withdrawn.
And in California, we're lucky. We, especially, you know, Southern California and Northern California are both really good places.
Definitely a lot more dense than like places like the Midwest. Like growing up in St. Louis, they just have like the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, and like there's not a whole lot else. You know, I mean, I'm sure the colleges
my teacher was from the Midwest, so like from what I understand, like the Midwest is like they do classical music, but there are other parts of I mean, and it's probably not all the Midwest, you know what I mean?
Right. It's a large area.
All of the Midwest.
But that proves that even the music education is still there in those states, even if at the high level. So that's got to be hopeful. I mean, if that's the people are still there.
And it's funny too because like I read a lot about orchestras that are doing well and orchestras that aren't. And there are a lot of people that try to see why, or try to think about why some orchestras don't do well and why others do. Like LA Phil is an example of an extremely successful orchestra. And you can kind of see that there's not as much of an ivory tower thing that they have going on, which is kind of cool. And I think that's why they succeed so well, is because they have accessible concerts, they have new music concerts.
That's what I was gonna ask.
They have classical they really cater to any type of taste in orchestral music.
Yeah.
I mean,
They let the gateway music, such as the movie music or the video game music or those types of things, get people interested. And then they say, oh, this is what we're about. Look, we play that stuff too. And then they say, hey, you should come back and listen to this podcast.
And they make sure people know it's fun too. That's the most important part. It's funny because when we were at the Spectrum today, talking to other people, like the minute that they knew it was about classical music survey, it's like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, well, there's a lot of bad music in the world. Like, no, I don't. I only listen to. And like, no, we'll
like trying to pretend they didn't like Lady Gaga or something.
Yeah.
You can like both, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks for
Appreciate your thoughts and your answers.
I love the blog. It's a pleasure to be on Double Treble here.
Alrighty, so now it is your turn. In the description bar, we'll put a link to our Google document that has all the questions, and if you could email that back to us at doublethetreble @gmail.com. We want to hear responses from you, and if you don't want to take time to fill out the entire survey, that's totally fine. Leave a comment. Just give us your thoughts. We'd really love to hear them because there have been so many interesting things.
There have been many good things talked about. So fill out the survey by next Tuesday. If you like the discussion this week, make sure to watch next week's episode 2, and you'll see the entire discussion, and hopefully you'll get to participate.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take your time to like, comment, and please subscribe.
The wine of today is not a wine at all.
House party!
House party! The drink of today is Sky Vodka and Grape Drink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Good drink.
cheers!
Cheers.
Thanks for coming!
Thank you.
Okay, go out the door now.
Get out of here!
Get out of here.